All right, y'all. Today I'm going to talk to you about having a passed dinner at your wedding. That means no sit down dinner. If you're getting married and looking for a DJ, head on over to djbenboylan.com and schedule a conversation. So let me just run through what dinner was traditionally at weddings, at least in the New York area. So after your ceremony, you would have cocktail hour, and traditionally the couple would not go to that. And that would be passed hors d'oeuvres, people sipping on drinks, people mingling, and that is followed by a sit-down dinner. People would head into another room. They would be served an appetizer. They would be served an entree. Sometimes there'd be an extra course in between those. And then get up and dance. And there would be sometimes cake cutting or a dessert table in the middle of the dancing. And depending on what type of venue you were at, you might have small dance sets in between courses, or you might have all of your dancing after dinner. A lot of couples are changing that. I love change. I think it's awesome. So instead of having a sit-down dinner after cocktail hour, they just keep the cocktail hour vibes going. So like I said, there'll be passed hors d'oeuvres throughout the whole night, except it'll start out with hors d'oeuvres and maybe go to a passed salad, and then a passed entree, and then passed dessert, and then maybe after the dessert, there's another passed appetizer before the wedding wraps up. Let me go through the reasons why I think people do this. And first off, it's cheaper. You save money doing passed food rather than having a big entree and stuff like that. Another reason is it's a great way to fit people into a small space. Many of my weddings are not in big wedding halls. They're in smaller restaurants and venues. So if you don't have to put 5 to 10 giant dinner tables in the space, you can fit a lot more people in. Another reason is that since couples now go to cocktail hour, they have a lot more time to schmooze with their guests. So they don't need all the dinner time to do it that they used to. And the reason that I am told, usually, that they are doing this is so that they can have more dancing. At many weddings, there is only between an hour and a half to 2 hours of dancing, and that's perfectly enough for a lot of people, but some people want more dancing. So while I think that this approach to dinner at your wedding can be really fun, there are a few warnings I would give you that I've seen from doing, over 100 weddings. And first off is there's a reason it's called sit-down dinner. Part of it is dinner, but another part is sit down. So if you are taking away the dinner seats, make sure there are seats, because a lot of your guests will expect to be sitting down and they want to relax and they don't necessarily want to stand up for 3 or 4 hours. The other one is make sure you have enough food. I probably don't have to say this, and the only reason I am is I did a wedding where they had this kind of dinner recently, and I heard the guests complaining throughout the night that there wasn't enough food, and some of them were looking on their phone for a nearby restaurant to go to, and you don't really want that. On the flip side, one of the last weddings that I DJ'd last year, or this past season, they were doing a past dinner, and they just killed them with food. They did all the courses, and then they brought out dessert, all passed. And after dessert, they brought out another round of appetizers. It was like little flatbreads with burrata on them, and people were more than satisfied. And I think you would rather your guests say, "I can't eat any more," than have them say, "I didn't have enough to eat." Now let's talk about the music. This is my specialty, obviously. And like I said, a lot of my couples do this type of dinner and they think that their guests will be dancing a lot more. And in my experience, that isn't usually the case. It depends on your guests. It depends on how much they like to dance, how much they like music. And in my experience, your guests are only going to dance so much. If you have guests who love to dance, maybe they'll dance the entire time. And if you have ones who aren't big dancers, they won't dance that much. And that doesn't really matter so much on how much time you give them or if they're sitting down or not. It really depends on them, and it also depends on how good your DJ is. It depends on the age breakdown of your guests and, how much physical activity they are going to want to do. It is physical activity. So if you have a lot of guests of a certain age who don't even do 20 minutes of physical activity a day, I don't think they're going to dance for 4 hours straight, even if, you ask me to play dance music the entire time. They might have a great time, but they might not dance that much. So, is it a bad idea to do this as far as DJing goes? No, it's awesome actually. I play different music. I keep the music a little more upbeat, and we stay away from old-fashioned jazz and classical music during dinner, unless you really like jazz and classical music, in which case we'll definitely play it. But if not, we'll play upbeat, cool music. And I've often seen, a few people hit the dance floor, and then a few more, and then, you have this crowd of people dancing, right at the start of dinner when other people are eating. It's really fun. So if you're thinking about doing this type of dinner, I would suggest it as a DJ. I think it's really fun. So to wrap it up, I would say, do what you want to do if you think this is a good idea, having a past dinner, and make sure you hire really good vendors and talk to them about the pros and cons of this, and they will give you their advice, and they'll guide you on how to get the best experience out of this way of doing it. And I think you're really going to love it. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. If you've been to a wedding where they did this, the past dinner with no sit-down dinner, could you let me know in the comments what you thought about it? And even if you haven't been to one, what's your initial reaction to this? So thank you so much for watching this video. If you're getting married, head on over to djbenboylan.com and schedule a conversation. Thank you.